Hey guys, Master Ningan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and next up we have another one of the no item runs for the new Extreme Super Battle Road stages that have dropped on Global, and today we are doing the Future Saga. And boy, this one was annoying. This one definitely gave me flashbacks to the OG Future Saga run back in the day. I remember when the stages were first out and I was doing the no item runs, I didn't actually have my own LR Trunks and Mai, and it was very frustrating. Basically, we are using the exact same strategy as we did back in the day. In fact, the units that play the major role on the team are the same ones as the units from back then in the day, because basically the whole point of the main strategy here is that we are using LR Trunks and Mai on both rotations, because in fight number 1 and fight number 3 they will have their dodge passive active, so 50% chance to dodge, and then of course if we're getting their 18 key super they have a 50% chance to stun. We're using Int Mai as another stunner, and then the rest of the team is just kind of there either to support or to deal damage. So there has been a couple of significant updates to the team since back then. The first one is the AGL Trunks and Mai that you see here. This unit is incredibly useful for this run. Not only do they link up well with the LR, they are pretty decent in their own right. They greatly raise their defense on super attack. I give them quite a bit of additional, so if they double super, they just easily take double-digit damage from the enemies in this stage, which is obviously very good. And then on turn 3, they have an active skill which stuns the enemy, guaranteed, completely nerfs their defense, which is obviously the downside, but gives them guaranteed crit for the turn as well. This can be really useful in certain situations, especially when, like, you know, if there's only one enemy left, it allows you complete control. Especially in the second fight, when you only fight against a single enemy, which is the Tech Cell. And Tech Cell does not count as a enemy for Trunks and Mai to get their dodge. So basically, the strategy is to just keep the enemies as stunned as possible while dealing damage with units like the Tech Trunks. The STR Trunks is very good for this as well. Post super attack, his defense is very good. He does have the chance to stun on his super attack, as well as having the ability to additional. I don't think it happens in this one, but I had a run where literally on like the first turn he triple supered against the physical Future 17 and just absolutely destroyed. He did so much damage to him, it's insane. But yeah, his stun chance is not super high, so we're not relying on him as a stunner, but it's definitely a useful side effect. I am running the Tech Trunks here just to basically have the higher leader skill overall. So I have Tech Trunks as my leader, and I have an LR Trunks and Mai on the team, and then an LR Trunks and Mai friend, because obviously they only have a 130 leader skill. So, and this is a situation here where we can use the active skill to our advantage, rather than take the risk of the LR not dodging AGL 18, because as you saw from the first turn, they take over 100k damage from normal attacks from her if they don't dodge. But 17 is already stunned, so we go ahead and use the active skill on 18 to stun her as well. It does do decent damage, so you can potentially kill, like we did here. And so now, we only have the one enemy left who is stunned. So immediately, we've just removed all the danger from this rotation completely. And now we've got Trunks and Mai to go off in slot 1 and potentially stun again. The AGL Trunks and Mai now get a guaranteed crit for this turn. And we have the STR Trunks in slot 3. So obviously he can be inconsistent depending on how many times he supers. But even after one super attack, his defense is okay. So if he has to take a hit or two, then it's not too bad. But obviously he's not like the kind of unit that can be tanking super attacks. And obviously if he multiple supers, then he can tank for double digits. So he is actually really, really good. I definitely recommend using him on the team. Obviously we don't have a Youth Gohan to get his unit super attack, and there's barely any Hybrid Saiyans on the team. In fact, none of the main rotations are Hybrid Saiyans, so we're not getting the benefit of his support, but he's still a very solid unit. So the strategy is to try and finish the first fight so that we can go into the second fight with this rotation, with Int Mai, because the LR can't dodge against Cell, so we have to put Int Mai in slot 1, hope that she doesn't get destroyed, because she takes, without this Int Vegeta, we got Int Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta on the team, I didn't talk about him yet at all, He nerfs the enemy's attack by being on rotation, and then he does have a chance to stun extreme class enemies only for the duration of that turn when he attacks. So that can actually be really useful as well if you've only got one stunner on rotation, or just as some backup. Having him attack someone, even though it's only for the turn, it protects everybody, including him, from taking extra hits. And, like I say, he lowers the enemy's attack from his passive. So we saw Mai only takes around 20 to 30k getting hit by Cell, whereas if Vegeta's not on rotation, she takes about 50, which is still manageable if you have a decent amount of health, but you definitely, you can often load into the situation where Cell's attacking like 6 times in slot 1, and without Vegeta on rotation, that means Mai's taking close to like 300k just from normals. That's not even factoring in a super. Now, my Int Mai does have quite a lot of dodge, so in some of these attempts, she was dodging left, right, and centre, because the Int Mai, her role on the team is she's a support, and she stuns with her super attack, so there's literally no need to give her any crit. So my Int Mai is basically full additional for the extra chance to stun and then dodge, basically. So she definitely has some solid moments on the team. But yeah, the strategy for the second fight is just to completely keep Cell stun locked so he can't do anything. And I'm pretty sure we are successful at doing that. I mean, obviously this is a winning run, so we definitely make it through this fight. But I'm pretty sure we are successful in keeping him locked down pretty much forever with stuns. Because Int Mai you could replace with the AGL one. The AGL one has a 70% chance to stun on super attack. But of course, that would completely ruin this strategy because you can't put AGL Mai in slot 1 to take hits from Cell. So I think the Int one definitely is the one you want to go for. Obviously, if you're using items, then she can be replaced by the AGL. The AGL has the higher chance to stun on super attack. But the Int one does also have the ability to stun from her passive. So you see here, we did not actually get the stun to go off on the previous turn. Both Int Mai and the LR Trunks of Mai let us down. But perfect timing for these guys to come in, use the active skill, and then get the stun, as well as do a nice little bit of extra damage. So now he's back to being stunned. It is only for the one turn, but then it presents us with this other opportunity for the LR Trunks and Mai to come in and get the stun. So I'm trying to work out, I was moving the rotation around a little bit to see if I could find a slot where we could actually get them 18 key, because they do have a higher chance to stun on their 18 key super than they do on their 12. So whenever possible, you do want to be getting the 18 key super with Trunks and Mai, because obviously the name of the game here is stun locking, so need to get them stuns. Double super from AGL Trunks and Mai is really good, especially on that specific turn, because the active skill turn you get guaranteed crits. But yeah, Trunks and Mai coming in clutch with the stun on their 12 key. So literally, yeah, you can see we were able to keep that stun lock in place by using the AGL Trunks and Mai active skill to stun him at the start of the turn. And then our actual on-turn stunner came in with the actual proper stun for 2 turns. So I was just double-checking the links and stuff that were available. I don't know if I misplayed that slightly, but I couldn't see a slot straight away to get an 18 key super for them. But we are getting very close to finishing off Cell here. Obviously, the goal was to try and kill him without getting to the Dokkan attack. But because he's a singular enemy, he obviously has a lot of HP. It was harder to tell how close to death he was, because I believe he survives the turn. Although actually, he's got very low health now. I think we might be good. I'm trying to remember, because I had a few attempts at this, because literally, as I was saying at the beginning, yeah, he does survive. Just like the original run, I was having horrible flashbacks to it, because literally, when I did the original Future Super Battle Road No Item run, the same thing kept happening to me that was happening with this one, where I would get to the third fight almost seemingly with no problem. Like 3 or 4 times I got to the last fight on full health, with the Dokkan attack ready to go and everything to use in the last fight. And then literally Trunks and Mai in slot 1 would just not dodge anything and not stun, and then I would die. Or they would do that good old classic where they would dodge all the normal attacks and then get hit by a super And Zamasu or Goku Black in the final stage hitting Trunks and Mai with a super. They do like 400 and something thousand damage. So it was getting very frustrating that I was getting all the way to the end and then the RNG was letting me down. Because for this run, or at least especially with this strategy, it is basically all about the RNG. If you're not getting your dodges with Trunks and Mai, if you're not getting your stuns, then you just getting absolutely destroyed. Because until this team gets some of the major updates that we've seen on JP recently, the biggest problem is there aren't a lot of units, well I say a lot, there's barely any in fact, units that are just straight up tanks that you can put in slot 1 and they can soak up a little bit of damage. Like, they don't take much, just take a bunch of hits and then obviously the rest of the turn plays out from there. They don't really have any units like that. The closest thing we have is Trunks and Mai, but it's not, they're not really tanking, we're just relying on them actually being able to dodge in order for us to not take damage. So as you can see here, straight away, turn 1, we take 2 normal attacks. Fortunately, we dodge the super from Zamasu, and then we get hit from the normal. So at least out of those 4 attacks, we dodged the only one, I guess, that was super important to be dodged. Int Vegeta being on the rotation obviously helps out with making sure those attacks that did connect didn't do quite as much damage. And we do get lucky with the stuns here. So Zamasu stunned by Trunks and Mai, Goku Black stunned by the Int Mai, and then we do a little bit of extra damage to Zamasu. I want to get rid of Zamasu first because he has type advantage over Tech Trunks, whereas Goku Black doesn't have type advantage over anyone, and we at least have like the AGL Trunks and Mai that have type advantage over him. So I'm trying to think of like worst case scenarios where the enemy isn't stunned. Obviously, we need to try and make sure we're not having a bunch of type disadvantage attacks flying around. So, since Zamasu's taken so much damage already, I'm trying to keep the stun on Goku Black and then just deal as much damage as possible to Zamasu. The AGL Trunks and Mai, they do get an extra buff in this fight. They get guaranteed crits against a Goku Black or Zamasu. That's the other thing I should have pointed out as well in the Cell fight. Because Cell is not a future Saga enemy, they're not getting all of their buffs, so you would have noticed their attack stat was lower during the Cell fight. Fortunately, they didn't have to take any attacks, so we didn't see any difference in their defense. But we managed to keep the stun on Goku Black, so obviously now it's all down to LR, Trunks and Mai being able to dodge in slot 1. I'm not taking any risks here, just going straight for the stun on Zamasu, and then we'll get Int Mai to try and keep the stun on Goku Black, and then Trunks in slot 3. Potentially with the damage that the LR does here, and then STR Trunks in the final slot, this could be the end of the road for Zamasu. 4 million attack stat for Trunks and Mai. I mean, their biggest problem is when they can't dodge, or they don't dodge, they take so much damage. So, like, an easy A for them. I don't want to do the classic, like, with the Int Gohan and say all they need is defense, and then that's all they get. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what their easy A is going to look like, because they could be a really, really good unit again. It's just, yeah, you can see in this run, like, when they don't dodge, their defense is not particularly good. But we're hitting some reasonable attack stats, like, all things considered. And look at that, Trunks just absolutely going off. Not only does he finish off Zamasu, he gets an additional super onto Goku Black, which is also a stun. So yeah, this is the point where I was feeling pretty comfortable that it was GG. I'm not using the AGL Trunks and Mai active skill because it's a waste, because he's already stunned. And Trunks and Mai already get guaranteed crits against Goku Black. So the idea is to save it just in case, because obviously if we get to a turn where we are not able to keep him stunned, and then we have them on rotation, then I can just use their active skill and stun him. So there's not a lot of point using it when he's stunned already. But as you can see from this turn, Trunks and Mai did not get the stun. So now Goku Black is unstunned. And look at this, 1 attack in slot 1. So this is where I was thinking, oh yeah, you know, it's in the bag now. And then, man, the scariest outcome. Look at this. We are on full health. So slot 1, get the 18 key super for Trunks and Mai. And then supers for everybody else during the course of the turn. Pick up a same type orb, why not? Get up that little bit of HP. And so, of course, that 1 attack in slot 1 is a super. And they don't dodge. 427,000 damage. So yeah, that could have been the run over right there if we weren't on such a high amount of HP. But fortunately, they come through and actually get the stun. My stuns as well. But yeah, you're going to see after this, when we actually get to see our health bars again, just how close we actually came to losing there. We've got about 57k HP, is that 67? So below 70k HP. So I decided to use the active skill here just because this is going to be the final turn. As long as, well, by using the active skill basically guarantees it's the final turn. Because not only do we actually get to do damage to him, which we do a pretty significant amount here considering it's a guaranteed crit. And yeah, there's clearly, I mean, you can see just by the amount of health that he has left here, he is not surviving the turn. So there you go. The little bit shaky right at the last minute there. The game tried to throw up one final roadblock. When I saw him supering, my heart just dropped in my chest. I was like, they're not going to dodge this, are they? And I actually thought we were going to die. I didn't realize we were the team. I didn't even really notice the full HP for the team was as high as it is. But as you can see, like from our full HP, we barely survived that super attack. 50k. Basically, if there'd been a second attack that was a normal and they hadn't dodged, they would have died, basically. So, yeah, very, very close at the last minute there. But we do manage to make it through and we get the future Saga stage beaten with no items. So, obviously, this one, very reliant on RNG. If you can rebuild this same team, but just obviously, you're going to be using items, they shouldn't be too difficult because you're not going to be just, game overed if Trunks and Mai don't dodge, if you're supplementing the turn with some, like, damage reduction items and stuff. But, yeah, pretty straightforward. Obviously, this category going to get major buffs in the future, which is going to make this a lot easier. But that is another one of the no item runs out of the way. So let me know what team you guys use down below in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.